Once your leaders have what they need, you can continue discussion at your tables, and of course, feel free to take a break at any time.
I had to do this way first and then this way. I'll give you a break. You know, I recognize you and your wife and Emily. Emily's your daughter, right? Faith.
All right, well, while they're doing that, because there's not an official tally here like there was in the values, we're going to keep going.
Good.
So,
Not just that
probably
random
wondering what we're going to do next. If my assistant. We're going to talk about that. All right, so we're going to try to kind of wrap this together. When I say wrap it, all I mean is figure out how we're going to pick it up and move it to the next step, okay? Next slide, please. All right, so this is not going to stun you. It's really what you think it's going to be, right? We're taking this information, this input, from a wonderful cross-section of our parish, and we're going to turn it over to the parish staff and council to digest it further, okay? And really have some rich discussions about, okay, now what do we do? Because we really don't know. Again, this is a lot of great information, but we're not really sure. As I said in the bulletin article, I can't remember if it was the first one or the second one, that we have to take this one step at a time, right? Because that's how we determine if we're going in the right direction. So the next step is to put it back into their hands, which I'm then thinking they're probably going to put it back into our hands, but again, we're just doing one step at a time. In the meantime, we need to keep talking. There's a lot of great discussion, I think, that was probably sparked today, either on the values or outreach or both. And I think the more we discuss it, the better, the more we better understand what we want to do, what we value personally, what the church values. So keep talking about that and discussing it. And finally, get involved. As we move to each step, we're going to need help, right? There might be another meeting like this. I don't know. If there is, maybe you can help set up. It could be something that basic, right? It could be we've identified a new ministry that we think would be important, and it's something you're super passionate about. We would take that too. Maybe you have some technical skills. See my husband running around everywhere. That's something we'll need, right? All over the place. You all have something to give that is relevant to this parish. But it's really up to you to figure out what that is. Because one thing I've learned myself personally, and again through the readings, is you're only going to stick with something that you love, right? St. Helens Festival, I love it. Don't put me in a booth anymore, I hate it. Okay, I will not do booth work. That's a joke. Okay? I mean, I'm serious, but it's supposed to be funny. Like, I don't want to be in the dark booth. That's just not my thing, right? But there are other people who are really good at that, and they love it. That's the longest 2 hours of my life. Okay? So you have to have the same discernment about what do you like to do. Okay? I kind of like to do this stuff. I like to help people rally around change and try to figure things out and make it less scary for them. That's what I like to do. That's why I'm standing here. What do you do? What do you want to do for the parish? So that's where we're at. It looks like we're close. So what Matthew's doing right now is I just made a comment to him that those Post-it notes are probably going to fall off, and then we're not going to know where they are. So he's coding them by letter that we came up with, just so in case they fall off, we can put them back on and we know which quadrant they're in. Before you leave today, if you think your Post-it note might not be understandable by somebody in the parish staff who's just going to see it for the first time, I'd recommend you go over there and put some more detail in it. Maybe write your name on it if you want. That's up to you. But I read a couple of them real quick and I said, I don't know what that means. So you might want to go back up there and just make sure, maybe on your way out, that what you said is clear. But take a look at it visually right now. Can you just step over to the side, hon, for a second? Thank you. Okay, so we got a ton of stuff in the low-hanging fruit, right? Ton of it. And really, if you look at the one that's the least populated, it's the one you want to be the least populated, the one that you're probably going to leave till last. So we have no shortage of ideas, right? Now it's about determining how to execute them, which is always the toughest part. But we have to start somewhere. And I hope that you felt as part of this exercise that you were heard, that you had a chance to be creative and say, this is what I think, okay? But now, you probably have some other things on your mind. So I'm going to be turning over in just a second to Father Mike, because I think the Q&A is probably going to be more for him than me, although I'll stand by. Before I do that, does anyone have any questions or comments about the session today before I close this piece of it? Yes?
I'd just like to say, I thought we had a very good table, very good discussion, and you did a very good job.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope you got to meet somebody new today at your table. That's part of the joy of this, right? And you probably noticed that the one value that we had on both sides of the house, aspirational, actual, was community, which is really super exciting. You should all be very proud of that. I saw another hand up. Yes?
Yeah, I just want to make a comment. First of all, you have done a great job, and I really appreciate all this. And I think we all do, because when I see our church in the ways that make us better Catholics. As far as your 4 premises go, the 3rd premise was incorrect. It's fine in a secular world. to
Wait, I'm
say-
sorry,
Hang
can
on a second.
okay.
I'm sorry. Opinion, this is my opinion, and opinions like ours only has a couple of some say, my mistake. But in your 4 premises, your 3rd premise, you said it's a fact, it's not a belief. It's a belief, it's not a fact, it's not what's true in the Catholic Church. It's a fact that Jesus Christ is present in the whole universe. It's also a belief. It's a fact that there is a God. It's also a belief. In the world where we come from, in this world right here, you're absolutely right. I was in corporate Xerox for a while, and I can tell you that what you're saying is absolutely right. We never went on belief, we went on faith. But not in the Catholic Church. In the Catholic Church, you must always believe that Jesus Christ is present in the Blessed Sacrament. That's a fact. But it requires belief. It requires a leap of faith to get at that point. So on that point, I'd just like to say that I think that we have established here in your 4 steps of personal aspirations, faith, prayer, worship, that that's what we want. But that doesn't take us to do that. The things we want require priesthood. Requires priesthood, requires us too, as priests too. But still, we must all understand that in order to be great and wonderful Catholics, we need priests as leaders to help us, to show us the way, to service for us what Jesus Christ wants, leading a church that has a leadership. We do not want priests that are like us. We want priests that will lead us into what is right. The second thing, just one more point. When I was in Xerox, we used to do the same thing. We used to get opinions from all of our employees, and they'll take us wrong. But when we finally got together, we decided that we really needed it. And I certainly hope that doesn't happen here, that Father Schramm will take serious what's going on and doesn't decide for himself or a whole bunch of other parishes that, well, we should throw this out and this out. So we should always consider this for all of us. And I guess I would say that you've done a marvelous job. I would have never thought of doing this. This is fantastic. This is something we need to do. And I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for sharing that. And certainly, Father can add more commentary if you'd like during the Q&A, which is what we're going to go to now. So, Father, did you want to come forward? Because I'm guessing, and the Q&A can be about anything. And again, we don't want to be here all night, but we want